everyone. So I'm going to start off by talking about some trends. Yeah. So I'm going to start off by talking about some trends that we're currently facing today. I'm then going to highlight two fundamental issues that we're currently facing, and then I'll go on to how co-living is currently solving these. So we live in an increasingly globalized and transient world where people crave more freedom and flexibility. People are now taking longer to settle down and commit. In the last 4 years, the average age of marriage has gone from 20 to 29, and the number of marriages in Europe has decreased by 30%. So that means in less than 1% of the time that the concept of marriage has been around, the age of marriage has increased by almost 50%. 91% of millennials expect that they'll stay in a job for less than 3 years. And by 2020, 50% of the US workforce will be freelancing in some way, shape or form. Countries like Estonia have already started to offer e-residencies, which is a program aimed towards location-independent entrepreneurs that enable people to remotely access the services that you get from a residency, such as company registration, document signing, tax declaration, and fulfillment of medical prescriptions. Lastly, there's been a wider acceptance and curiosity towards polyamorous and open relationships, and the realization that conventional, lifelong, monogamous commitments that society in the past has imposed on us isn't the only solution to having intimacy and true love in your life. So life expectancy is going through the roof. The global number of centennials is projected to increase tenfold between 2010 and 2050. 1 in 3 babies born today will live to the age of 100. And just to put this in perspective, at the start of civilization, chances of living to 100 were estimated to be 1 in 20 million. We now value experiences over material possessions. We no longer save up for a deposit, we save up to travel, to go to festivals, and to create those moments that will grow us inside and stay with us for the rest of our lives. A recent survey showed that 3 out of 4 millennials would rather spend money on an experience than a material possession. So many of the products that we consume nowadays, delivered to us as a service, are stored on the cloud, which further gets rid of the need for having material possessions. So I have my music collection on SoundCloud and Spotify, I have my photo albums on Facebook, and my DVDs on Netflix. So technology has enabled us to work, communicate, and keep in touch with anyone from anywhere, particularly with the rise of smartphones and social media. We're living in an increasingly globalized world where there's much more migration towards cities. By 2050, we'll reach rates of 70% of urbanization. However, and this is a really big fucking however, many of these fascinating trends and advancements, particularly the rise of virtual communication, are unfortunately creating a significant negative externality. They're failing to satisfy a fundamental human need that every human being on this planet is born with, the need to belong, connect, and form meaningful relationships with those around us. We now live in a world that's becoming increasingly disconnected, and we're facing what I've described as a loneliness epidemic. As affluence and urbanization rise, rates of suicide and depression go up. According to the World Health Organization, people in wealthy countries suffer 8 times the depression rate of those in poorer ones. New research also suggests that loneliness and social isolation are as much of a threat to our health as obesity, cancer, and smoking are. Another study concluded that social isolation increases chances of mortality by between 30 to 60%. Loneliness is also the psychological state most associated with suicide, to the point where it's safe to say that while not all lonely people are suicidal, all suicidal people feel lonely. A recent study showed that using social media 2 hours a day makes you twice as likely to suffer from social social isolation compared to moderate users. And checking social media over 58 times per week, which is definitely not uncommon amongst us here, makes social isolation 3 times more likely. Since the beginning of human civilization, we've lived in tribes. Feeling connected with others and having a sense of belonging is ultimately wired deep in our DNA. Because the things that cause us to feel pain are things that evolution recognizes as threats to our civilization. Therefore, the existence of social pain is a sign that evolution and nature has treated social connection like a necessity, not enough. We have people aged between the age of 18 and 60. We have 55% of people from the UK, 45% of people international. And typically people stay for sort of 12 to 15 months, but then we also provide some shorter term, right? So it's about creating a real melting pot and really catering to the wide variety of needs, because wanting to live in this more communal way is a mindset thing, and you can be 50 years old, you can be 21 years old, this can be your hometown, or you can be from somewhere else and wanting to make new friends, right? And that's the beauty of what we do.
Thank you. Do we have time for? I believe we have time for a few more questions. Well, this is really popular. There's one persistent wave on that side, and then we'll get to another one on the other side. Not sure if we can get to all your questions, but Reza is going to be hanging out at Tech Open Air Festival today. Seems like a cool guy that you can pretty much go up to and ask questions. You'll find him at the Collective, the stand right next to us, right here. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I work mostly on conflict resolution, and I'm really wondering, with this diversity that you just explained and the percentages you explained, how are you selective about who's getting in and who's not? Do you do that at all? And if you do that, how do you exactly decide what kind of dynamics and culture and dynamics that you want to have? And if you can give us an insight about maybe issues or conflicts that arise and what you do when they do.
Sure. So, no, you're right. Where you've got lots of people from sort of different backgrounds, it's definitely something we need to be wary of. So we carry out tours for every single person that wants to book, and that tour is essentially like an interview, right? It takes about 40 minutes to tour the whole building, and through that process, we can ask them for the right questions to make sure that, ultimately what we want to make sure is that people are not going to be offensive to other people, and they're not going to have a negative impact to their neighbours, right? We want diversity. This is not some exclusive club which is only aimed at, nomadic millennials. This is something that's all-inclusive, where people can live in harmony together, but it's really about identifying the people that are going to be offensive and have negative impacts to the community, and those are the people that we want to remove, right? So one way is that initial kind of screening process. Second is in our contracts, we have very kind of strict terms which say that if people do offend and they misbehave, they have 3 strikes, and after 3 strikes they're out, because we really want to avoid those issues, and of course we have them, right, to mitigate them through these methods.
Thank you.
Awesome. I think we'll do one more question before we go on to our next talk. Then it will be the young lady right here. I've seen your hand a couple of times. The one in green. I'll hand you my mic.
There's a lot of talk about co-living being the future of urbanism. How do you think that integrates with families?
I think that's a good question, and it's something that we're quite early on in our thinking. But again, right, even as a family, right, being able to live with other families in a communal environment where perhaps the amenity spaces are where your kids can be looked after while you go to work, right, or where you have private spaces where you can go without your kids, right, where you can have fun with kids of your age. So I think there's definitely a product, a co-living kind of focused offering for families for sure. And I think that, in Berlin actually you see it, right, where families come together and they'll decide to develop a few houses in a communal way and live there all together. So there's demand for that.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Reza.
Thank you guys. I'll be hanging hanging out at the stand right next to us, so feel free to come by, have a drink, and continue chatting.
Great, good stuff. Thank you so much for coming around to the forest stage.